Hola, soy yo, Vicky, de El Príncipe Center, otra vez. Espero que todo bien con todos vosotros. Y bueno, today, a little bit tricky what we're going to look at. These are things that people never like doing, and I don't like teaching because I know that at first people are going to be a little bit confused by them. But I also know that once the click happens, they get a lot easier. So, what are they? These are pronouns, direct object pronouns, to be precise. Now, what is a pronoun, first of all? So, probably most of you don't know what pronoun is, or maybe you do, depends what sort of grammar you did, or if you've learned a language before. But basically, a pronoun is something that replaces a noun. And a noun is a naming word. So anything that's the name of someone or something is a noun. Now, as we're speaking in conversation, we don't want to keep repeating the name of someone or something over and over again. As soon as it becomes evident who or what we're talking about, we start to use a pronoun instead. So, for example, I might say, this morning I have seen John. Yeah, I might say, oh, I've seen John this morning. Now, if I carry on then to talk about John, like, oh, I spoke to John, I had a good conversation with John, John told me, we wouldn't keep saying John. So we would replace it. As soon as it was clear who we were talking about, we would replace the name John with the pronoun, which in this particular case would be him. Yeah, I've seen John this morning. I've spoken to him. Yeah, you wouldn't keep saying John. Same with objects. If I said I bought a car, yeah, I bought it. So I'd start off saying a car, but then when I went on to talk about the car, I would gradually replace it with it when it was clear that I'm talking about the car. So basically, pronouns are what we use when it's clear who or what we're talking about, and we don't have to keep repeating the name of the person or the object that we're referring to. Easy, isn't it? So, no, it's not easy, but it's easier than you think. If you have the book, we are looking at the Break the Language Barrier Level 2 book. This is another reason why I call it the pain barrier, because not only it goes into all the past tenses, but it deals with these pesky pronouns, as I call them, which are always a little bit confusing. And we're on page 18, direct object pronouns. If you don't have the book, it doesn't matter. You should be able to follow the tutorial, okay? And if you would like the book, it's for sale on all Amazon sites, or it can be bought through my website. There are 4 different levels. We're currently in level 2. Okay, so, right. So what's the problem with pronouns? So the thing is, it's not a problem in English. If you're an English speaker, you use pronouns day in, day out without even realizing you're using a pronoun. And probably if I said to you, what are the pronouns in English? You wouldn't know offhand. But then when I'd say to you, well, this is what they are, then you would know. But in our own language, it's great. Our brain just works it out for itself. We don't have to think about it. But of course, once we start going into a different language, then we do have to think about it. So what are they in English? It's always worth looking at what they are in English. As I say, if you've got the book, we're on page 18. And English direct up, because they're all different kinds of pronouns as well, but we'll just do it poco a poco. We'll start off with direct object pronouns. And this is, in English, we have me, you, him, her, or it. So, for example, he told me. That would be a pronoun, yeah? Actually, that wouldn't be a direct object pronoun. Let's think of a better idea. He saw me. Yeah, so that the me there would be a direct object pronoun, because what that means is a direct object is who the verb refers to, not who does it, but who, for example, if I say, he saw me, well, he is the subject because he's the person actually performing the action. It's he saw. That's subject pronoun. He saw me. Me is the direct object because me is who he saw. Okay? So in English we have me, for example, he saw me. And we could change that, he saw you, he saw him, he saw her, he saw it. They're all these pronouns going down. Us, first person plural, he saw us. Yous, we don't have a plural you, so that would just be you. And them, he saw them. Yeah, so see that the verb doesn't change and it's still he saw, but it's who he saw or what he saw that is the direct object pronoun. Now then, in English, we always put our pronouns at the end of a sentence. Yeah, he saw me, I saw him. Yeah, so the actual him, me, it, her, etc., them goes at the end of the sentence in English. And this is the biggest problem with the Spanish equivalent, is the order or the placement of pronouns. Let's look at the pronouns first of all in Spanish. In the book here, there's a little chart, and you've got your English pronouns on one side and your Spanish pronouns on the other side, direct object pronouns. So we've got me, te, lo for him or masculine it, and la for her or feminine it, nos, us, os, yous, plural, and then either los for masculine them, be it people or objects, and las for feminine them. Now, we would only use the feminine if all of them were feminine. If we were talking about, I don't know, John and Jane, and I was saying, I saw them. Now, John's a man, Jane's a woman, so we've got masculine and a feminine, so I would use the masculine because the masculine always takes the precedence in Spanish. Okay, so the problem in Spanish is the order, because whereas in English we'd say, I saw them, in Spanish the pronoun has to go before the verb, immediately before the verb, if it's a conjugated verb. Now, what do I mean by a conjugated verb? So I mean a verb that's been put into a person, put into a tense. Yeah, so if I was to say, I see, veo. Yeah, the verb to see is there. I see, veo, present tense. So if I was to say, I see it, so notice that in English, the it goes after the verb, I see it. In Spanish, it goes in front, so I would say, it, I see. Lo, presuming it was a masculine it, lo veo. So if that was the car, for example, car is masculine, lo veo, I see it. But if it was the house, which is feminine, I'd say la veo. Yeah, so not veo la. The only time we can put the pronouns on the end is if we're using an infinitive. So from what we've done, what we've learned so far, the things we've learned so far, we know, or we should know, that an infinitive is a whole verb. So it's a verb before it's been conjugated, like hablar, comer, comprar. The whole verb with the AR, ER or IR still on the end of it, unconjugated. Then we can put it on the end. So, for example, if we were trying to say, I want to see it, yeah? Now, I want is the verb querer, which is a diphthong. If you don't know what diphthongs are, there is a tutorial on diphthongs and you really need to look at that because that's further back in the tutorial. So that sort of thing might come up as we go along. And if you haven't done diphthongs, you won't know what they are. But anyway, so a diphthong, so it's quiero, I want. To buy, comprar, that's an infinitive, that's the whole verb. And we've actually got a choice of 2 places to put the pronoun there because we have a conjugated verb, we've got quiero, but we also have an infinitive, comprar. So it can go either in front of the quiero, lo quiero comprar, or it can go on the end of the infinitive, quiero comprarlo. And it actually tags on to the end. And I'm using lo, presuming it's something masculine that I want to buy, a car or a book, but if it was a feminine object, it would be la. La quiero comprar, or quiero comprar la. If it was a person, maybe it's I want to see him. So again, quiero. The verb to see is ver. And because we've got a conjugated verb and an infinitive, the lo for him can go at the beginning or the end. Lo quiero ver or quiero verlo, but not both places. It's got to go one or the other, not both. That's the present tense. The present perfect, which is according to this course and how far we've got through the course, the only 2 tenses we've done so far are present tense and present perfect. So things, present tense, things we do, present perfect, things we have done. So let's take an example of the present perfect. So that would be, instead of I see him, it would be I have seen him. So it'd be him first, lo he visto. So I would always advise when you're working out how to translate any sentence in Spanish, identify the verb first. First thing you need to sort out is what is the verb, what tense is it? In other words, you know, present, as we go on, there'll be future, there'll be all sorts of different tenses. What person is it? Is it I, he, you, etc.? Sort your verb out and fit your pronouns in around the verb. The verb is the most important thing. So, as we go through these example sentences, and if you have the book and you're going to possibly do the sentences first, or maybe you've already done them before we go through them, I would look back over them first before we go through these answers. Make sure you've got your verb right, you've got your pronoun in the correct position, and then as we go through them, you can see if you've got it right or not. Okay, so we're in practice A, down at the bottom of page 18. As I always say, any problems about pronouns, and maybe you'll have several queries about pronouns. Pronouns are always a little bit tricky. You're not alone. That's the other thing I think it's important for people to remember. Anything you're particularly struggling with Spanish, all English speakers will be, and not only British people. You know, I have students of all different nationalities, but what they have in common is they know English because my explanations are in English. And it's always the same things that people have problems with, you know, the ser and estar, the pronouns, remembering the distinguishing between tenses, por and para, you know, there are common things that everybody finds difficult. So don't ever think it's just you that finds it difficult. But when it clicks, you know, I always think of Spanish, and especially when it comes to pronouns, it's a little bit like a jigsaw. It's like a puzzle that you have to put together bit by bit. Now, you won't always have to do that because as you get better at Spanish and more used to it, you'll just do it automatically like you do in English now. But in the beginning, you can't do it automatically because your brain doesn't work in that way. So you've got to go systematically, poco a poco, and then gradually the fluidity builds up. Okay, and I know because it happened to me, so I have been through this process. I wasn't bilingual from birth. I learned Spanish, really from my 30s. So, I wasn't a teenager even learning Spanish. Okay, anyway, let's go to question one or sentence one. So the sentence is, he has given it to Maria. And the it in brackets I've put M, meaning I want you to use a masculine it. So, what tense is it? Well, it's he has given. So it's present perfect because it's got the has. The has is your clue there. As I say, we're only dealing with two tenses. Present tense are things we do. Present perfect are things we have done. So we know it's present perfect. It's he has given. So we're going to take, so we know that bit is ha dado. HA from the haber verb to make the have bit. And given, past participle of da, the verb to give. So ha dado is he has given. Now the it has to go in front of a conjugated verb. So it's lo ha dado a Maria. He has given it to Maria. In Spanish, effectively, we're saying it he has given to Maria. ¿Vale? Número dos is the same sentence, more or less. It's just negative. He hasn't given it to Maria. So all we need extra there is a no, and it goes in front of the pronoun because the pronoun has to be right next to the verb. So we wouldn't say lo no ha dado, we'd say no lo ha dado a Maria. ¿Vale? Then number three is I have seen them today. ¿Vale? So again, we're looking at its present perfect because it's got the have. I have seen. And then them, I've put an F in brackets, so I want you to use the feminine them, which is las. So again, instead of saying, I have seen them today, in Spanish, effectively, you're saying, them I have seen today. So we would say, las he visto hoy. ¿Comprendes? Okay, numero cuatro. They haven't seen them this week. Again, them, it's an F, so it's feminine. So they haven't seen them. So no las han visto esta semana. Yeah. So literally, it's like not them they have seen this week, if you think of it in a literal way, but probably better idea not to try and do that, but bueno. Then number five, she has looked for him all day. So again, we know it's present perfect because it's she has looked for him. That the verb have in there is to make the tense is the giveaway that it's the present perfect. Now, quite often when people are doing this sentence, she has looked for him all day, they try and use mirar because they know that mirar is to look. But this is to look for, and to look for is buscar. So what we'll be saying is him she has looked for all day. So lo ha buscado todo el día. ¿Vale? Number six, have you understood it? So we'll be saying it, have you understood? Lo has entendido. If we don't, there's no say, it doesn't say there whether it's masculine or feminine, so we just presume it's masculine. Lo has entendido, or you could say also lo has comprendido. Depends if you use comprender or entender. Bear in mind that, well, certainly in Spain, probably use entender more than comprender, which is a shame because comprender is nice and easy for us to remember. He has given us everything. So he has given. Yeah, ha dado. Us is nos, but it goes in front of the verb in Spanish. So nos ha dado todo. ¿Vale? Us, he has given everything. So it's just the order that's different. But really, more or less, you're using out the same words that we are in English, just changing the order around a little bit. Okay, numero ocho, which is they have waited for us a long time. So we're going to be saying the equivalent of us, they have waited for a long time. So, nos han esperado mucho tiempo, o largo tiempo también. So, nos han esperado mucho tiempo. Okay, número 9. Now I know in the book I've got here, he has driven her to the airport. So if you've done this already, you'll probably have la ha conducido al aeropuerto. And I just want to say that in Spanish, we would probably use llevar. You don't really drive somebody in Spanish. It sounds like you're driving them, like you're driving a car. And so that was a bit of a mistake when I put that into the book. I need to change that. Actually, I need to revise the books, but it's no tengo tiempo. Because there are some things that I'd quite like to just change. But anyway, I can explain them on here. So we're probably better using the verb he has taken her to the airport en coche, yeah? So, la ha llevado, so the verb to take someone somewhere is llevar. La ha llevado al aeropuerto en coche, por ejemplo. So yeah, we don't really use, in Spanish, you don't talk about driving a person somewhere. Okay, numero 10, I have taken it home, masculine it. So that's lo, and we'll be saying it I have taken home. So again, it's the take, it's not tomar. People tend to use tomar or want to use tomar. Tomar is to take food, drink, a tablet, yeah, something, take something to yourself. And this is taking a thing somewhere. So if you live in Spain or anywhere where you see Spanish restaurants where they have comida para llevar, yeah, food to take away. Llevar is to take or to take away. So, lo he llevado a casa. Then we have number 11, the boys have seen me. So we'll start with the boys, los chicos, los niños, los muchachos, any of those three. And then we were saying, me have seen. So, los chicos me han visto. It's that there again, the irregular past participle. Have you seen it? Number 12, have you seen it? So we'll be saying, it you have seen. So it's la, because I've asked for feminine, I've put an F in brackets. La has visto, yeah. And then number 13, we have forgotten them. So we'll be saying them we have forgotten. Masculine, so it's los hemos, we have, H-E-M-O-S, olvidado. So to forget is olvidar. That's actually a regular AR verb. So los hemos olvidado. Then number 15, I have put it on the table. Now put is poner. Poner is an irregular past participle. So it's a feminine it. So la he puesto en o sobre o encima de la mesa. ¿Vale? So la he puesto en la mesa. It I have put on the table. Or as we would say, I have put it on the table. So, número 16, she has bought it this week, masculine it. So, she has bought. So, lo ha comprado esta semana. Número 17, they have painted it, and it's a feminine it. So, starting with la han pintado. ¿Vale? It, they have painted. Número 18, he hasn't done it. So we're going to be saying that he hasn't done it in Spanish. We're going to be saying not it he has done. So we start with the no. No lo ha hecho. No lo ha hecho. ¿Vale? And number 19, have you done it? So again, we're going to be using the lo. Lo has hecho. Yeah, it have you done? And then the last one, número 20, they haven't written them. So we're going to be saying them, they haven't written. So it's feminine. So it's las. Sorry, no, because it's negative. No las han escrito. Not them, they have written. Sí, so, yes, that. They haven't written them, no las han escrito. So as I say, when you're doing these, what's a good idea, I think, is, you know, go over these and do them again. So you've done them now, you've gone through them with me. It's a good idea to put your book away, maybe, or turn the video off. Come back to it again tomorrow. Do it again. See if you can do it the next time without thinking so much. And I recommend you do these exercises over and over again until you can just do them without thinking. That's the only way. Repetition, unfortunately, is the only way to learn Spanish. And if you're not in a situation or an environment where you speak Spanish every day, if you're not living in a Spanish environment, so basically apart from the classes or the videos or the books or whatever, that's the only time you're practicing, then you have to do it over and over again. And that's how it'll stick. Eventually it will. They say you have to do things 11 times to remember them. So there you go, at least 11 times you need to do that exercise. And what you'll probably find is sometimes you'll forget a couple of words, you'll get the first time you'll get a few wrong, but eventually you won't get any wrong. And that's when you know that you've done enough with that one and you're ready to move on to the next one. Okay, vale, ya está. So, if you found this video useful, which I really sincerely hope you have, please give me the thumbs up. In any case, thank you very much for watching the video, and if you feel like it and you'd like to see more videos to help you through your journey to learn Spanish, please press subscribe underneath, and then you should receive notification of new videos that come out. I think you might have to press the notification bell for that as well. I'm not sure, I don't understand it perfectly well. But anyway, I always let people know when there's new videos coming out, either through my page or Instagram or newsletters. If you have any queries, as I say, about anything to do with Spanish, please let me know. Anything you want particularly covering in a video, let me know, and I'll do my best to explain that to you. Muchas gracias y como siempre, hasta la próxima. Vale, adiós.